Hi guys, in today's video I just want to give you a short update what is going on. At the moment I'm already here in Austria for about 3.5 months and a lot of things had changed in the meantime in Thailand. I'm already preparing for a return to Thailand, and I also know, because of all these new discussions about the Omicron variant and this kind of stuff, the situation can change quickly. So my window of opportunity is really short. So I've planned to return to Thailand in the second half of December, because the regulations to enter Thailand have relaxed just for that period a lot. And in January the situation might look already completely different. So I want to slip into the country again. I have built up some reserves here. So I have done a lot of jobs which you can get easy. You can work hard, get some money, but now Austria is again in a lockdown also, and all these jobs disappeared again. So it's quite a good time to finish up the construction site at my sister and her partner's place. This will take another 2 to 3 weeks, and then from my side there everything is done. Let's answer the question. 3.5 months ago I have left my home in Thailand. I have two battery systems installed there. One is an off-grid system and the other one is the grid connected power wall, DIY power wall, and I can monitor them from any place of the world, and both of them are running. They run as expected, no problems. Just one story which I want to tell you because it's a quite funny one. But until now it's running. The power wall, I have one cell group of the 16 which are connected in series. Which one probably has a weak cell inside, and I do not actively balance. It's just from time to time I'm measuring out the voltages. When I see now is time, I am correcting more or less always the same cell group there and removing some energy so that the voltages come back into the range of the other ones. And typically when I cycle this battery pack, I cycle around 10,100 to 200 watt hours there every day when it is possible. And now, as I have the column meter integrated into the controller, you see it is showing now for the last charging cycle 9,873. So this dropped by maybe 200 to 300 watt hours, that value already. So it's about 100 watt hours per month, which can be seen there as drift, and I'm pretty sure it all comes from that one cell group. But otherwise there's nothing to say. When I am returning back to my place, I will again just balance out these cells there manually, and the value will be pushed up again. Right, nothing else to see. So you can also see the controller is estimating the capacity, pack capacity as well always, and that value dropped from around 11,500 somewhere in that area to now close to 11,000. This evening in Thailand the battery pack is full again, waiting for the discharge. And talking of the discharge, there comes a funny story. It started with the fact that I noticed that the power wall did not discharge overnight one time. Why would that happen? Well, it can only happen if there is a problem. I immediately brainstormed what could have been the problem. You know, if the power wall wants to discharge the battery pack, this runs over the inverter, of course, and the inverter is switched by a contactor, as the viewers of my channel already know, and the contactor again is switched via a 12-volt circuit. So I have a 12-volt bus, extra low voltage bus in my power wall. The 12 volt, they come just from a simple power adapter, AC power adapter. There's one outlet there in the power wall. At that outlet I have just plugged in a 12 volt power adapter, very simple one, you can buy that anywhere. And this is feeding the 12 volt bus, and then the 12 volt will be taken via the controller, via one relay, to the coil of the contactor, which then switches the high voltage part, right, the battery voltage, which usually have around 50 to 55 volts there. After the high voltage DC is switched on, this will then engage the inverter, and the inverter will start invert that DC from the battery into AC. So I was kind of brainstorming which of these parts inside the chain, their activation chain, could have failed. It could have started with a broken 12 volt adapter, then problem with the controller relay, problem with the contactor, or the worst of all, the problem with the inverter. So I was kind of thinking about it, and the most probable case was for me that the 12 volt was not existing. And I thought, you know, this is very common, these cheap adapters, 12 volt adapters, especially in the climate as I have them always blowing up sometime. And so I kind of suspected that the power adapter failed. And what I did was, you know, usually what can you ask your wife to do when you build a DIY power wall? Probably not much. So I just asked her to take a look at the power wall. There's one indication to see if the 12 volt is present or not, and that are the LEDs, indicators on the controller. They're also running on the 12 volt power bus. So if there is no indicator lights on, but the rest of the controller is powered on, right, display and everything is working, then that would mean the 12 volt power is not available. And yeah, it would have been anyway the end of it, more or less. The 12 volt adapter my wife could have changed. I have many laying around in spare, so that one is the only thing my wife could have fixed. Just take a new adapter and plug it in there, and yeah, it would have worked again. I can show you now pictures which I sent to my wife with some questions, and then what I have got back. So after these two pictures which I have sent to my wife, I got a return picture, and let me show you what it shows. Maybe you can find one mistake in that picture. So yeah, as you saw, the suspicion was correct, right? It was the 12 volt part which was missing, but luckily it was not a blown up adapter. It was just pulled out of the socket. And yeah, what could have done this? You know, we have a lot of creatures in Thailand, and probably a gecko, which can be quite big and heavy, was climbing inside the power wall, and went over the adapter and pulled it out. But easy fix. My wife plugged it back into the socket, and since then the power is running again perfectly. Okay, so that was this story. The next weeks, as I said, I will be still on the construction site, finishing that one up, and I'm already preparing my return to Thailand. A lot of documents have to be uploaded to somewhere, but I'm already through that process mostly. And yeah, and then in December I will talk to you again back from Thailand. Okay, thank you very much for looking this video, and please like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and I see you next time.